So, Rebels created by Daniel B. Green. This is the start of this. So the prologue really rams it up immediately. Clyde, or Child, I can't figure out how to say her name for the life of me. She wakes up to worms crawling out of her, the drip taking to her very well, and of course realizing that Sam's dead. And the Anointed, whatever the fuck that is, saying, "You will be awesome." Also, of course, she's very traumatized because, the Anointed brings up the head of her husband, severed head. Yeah. And then Holden Sanders finds out that what they tell him is that the whole of the 7th precinct was working with rebels, which Holden doesn't believe, but it's actually quite very much true. That does not look like good lighting. You guys can barely see me. Look, guys, I can't help it, okay? I can't help that my camera's died and it has to be plugged up right now, and I wanted to do some recordings. So, the MOT, the ministry, lets him in on that, and he's like, I don't believe that the captain, that Chapman, Sam, and Child were with the rebels. And of course, he then goes, it must have been Chapman. Chapman must have got into them, must have made them think different things, because, that's just the way they thought. And then the Anointed comes in and talks about that night. How there's rebels who are attempting to destroy evidence, that sort of thing. So she was trying to sit there and say, hey, look, we got proof that this happened. And then Anointed kind of threatens him. After trying to make him, butter him up, I guess. And her name is Avi Cormac. And she's like, Officer Sanders, you have been given great leeway today in light of the shock you are undoubtedly in. But do not overestimate my leniency. So, Anointed can do whatever the hell they want because they work for the Almighty. Whoever the fuck the Almighty is. And so they're like able to kill people with no repercussions, and Holder's like, oh shit, I just got told off. And then she's like, my name is Avi Cormac. You can use it to be sort of nice to him about it. So he learns a little bit more, and she's like, you need to look at the paperwork, fine, read it. The Empire owes you for our failure. She's like promising him all kinds of stuff, like you'll be an inspector instead of just an officer. And he was the only one that survived out of his whole team. And then it goes back 4 months before the 7th demise, and Chapman, and how he got into being part of the rebels, and who the rebels were. A little bit about it, like a Ruzii, which is a type of people I'm going to assume, and I think her name is Perk. And then you have someone named who's called the Grip, but his name is Crom. And the Grip is a type of people, or Grip. They have silver and green grip armor. So wizards. One made of dense muscle at that. So the Grips are part of it, but they're also part of the ministry, and a lot of them are defecting, I guess, in the rebellion, and they have power to back them up in that case. So he has to prove that he wants to be part of the rebellion really badly. And so 3 months before that, they're like, okay, we need you to, in a couple of weeks, off this man and get this briefcase that has notes on what is called the drip, which is changing nobles into something else. And we need to know about it so that way we can figure out how to prevent it and all that stuff, and give it out to the people so the people can start rebelling fully. And they're like, we want to use the 7th as a way to set that up. And that's how he tries, that's why he has to get, like, the 7th involved. The 7th precinct involved. It's because that's what the Royals, not the Royals, but the Rebels want. Okay guys, I was interrupted in the last clip when I was talking about this, and I was not happy about that. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about Rebels Creed and how far I'm into it. So, like, I'm 164 pages into it right now. And it's definitely better than Breach of Peace. I can tell you that. He learned a lot in writing. It's better. It's got a better plot flow. Characters are evolving. You get to learn more about what's going on in some of their heads. The thing is that it wasn't really necessary for him to go back and write Chapman's story. Though I can understand why, like, if you put this book and Bridge of Peace together as one book and make it just one whole novel, it would make more sense in doing that. Cause, like, I'm here for Clyde, or Child, or whatever her name is, and her being tortured and shit. Not Chapman and how he gets in to be with the rebels. Cause, I mean, like, he kills somebody, steals some paperwork about the trip, and then has to sacrifice the 7th, hopefully without them dying, to, you know, expose MOD. But, of course, as we all know, MOD doesn't work that way, okay? As we know, Chapman gets, he actually sits there and gets himself captured on purpose to give the 7th more time and try to draw out the Anointed away from them. And let's see what else happened. Oh, yeah. The 7th dies. We already knew that. We already knew that was going into the 2nd book. He's dead. They're dead. All of them are dead except for Child. Even Chapman said. The only one that isn't is Sanders Holden. And, yeah. It's not looking well for him. So, he gets put with the 11th instead of being with the 7th, or the new 7th, because he gets demoted, I guess, or shunted away to another area, and everybody knows in this world that when you get shunted to the lowest rung, it's because they don't want to deal with you anymore, and they don't want to look at you, and they hope you'll go away one day. So, yeah. He is being picked on by the other officers in the 11th, because the fact that he tried to report them being each uncop-like to a bunch of people. And there's one person in here, I think her name is Reki, and she got demoted to 11th too. And she's about the only one he can trust with practically anything. So there's that. Child actually tells the Anointed, who is Amy, or Avi Cormac, that the herbs in potions that Chapman had given her were probably it. And then she also tried to sit there and say that she got some of the drip in her through a cut, in which it happened, hoping to divert them from Chapman's, herbs and stuff. Of course, there's also the old dude that you meet in this. Besides Reki, or whatever her name is, you also meet. Yeah, her name is Reki. You also meet. I don't care about the officer dudes. They're not pretty cool, except for maybe Teeth. He's just laid back a little bit and just does his job. But it's Krolf. So Krolf is probably part of the same tribe that Chapman descended from, and what Krolf does is that he heals Holden. I'm currently at the point where the Anointed, Avi, is back talking with Holden. I don't like that she's talking to Holden. I don't like that she's the one who is training Child, and she's pretending like she believes like that Child is dead, and all kinds of other things. I took a shower earlier, so sorry about my wet floppy hair. It's just, I don't know. And Pirka, who is one of the rebels that you meet in Crom as well. There's also Lube, but Pirka is weird. She doesn't believe that the plan can go wrong or that anything bad will happen. They didn't even realize that Anointed was in the city. They thought it was gone, away from them, so they could safely do what they needed to do. She also sat there and told Chapman that, you might not be alive to continue on the plan, but everybody else will be. So, yeah, that was a flawed plan they had. I'm going to read more tonight, and I'll update you guys tomorrow on it. So, yeah. There we go. Okay, guys, I just got out of the shower, so we're gonna update Rebels Creed. I finished it. So, he definitely got better at writing, can tell you that much. Things definitely hit the fan when I was reading it. So, I guess I don't think I'm going to gush as much about it, but things really did heat up. So we find out that Holden had a boyfriend named Flip, who's part of the grip, and he actually helped out in the end, which is awesome. Reki got injured, Pirka got injured, and they both lived in the end. Crom sacrificed himself to stop the Anointed from getting them all out of the city, and basically when Josh met up with them and told them everything. He said, hey, look, Child is still alive. They're like, okay, we gotta rescue Child. And when Pirka found out about that, okay, Child is something new, something powerful. We could use her in the new world to stop the Anointed and the Almighty from going into the new world and fucking everything up again, right? So their whole priority for the rebels shifted, that they were all going to sacrifice their lives to get Child out of the city and onto a boat to go to the new world. And that's basically what happened. It's like over 700 rebels died out of the 800 there. Over 500 soldiers died during this rebellion streak because they blew up a lot of stuff. I mean, things went crazy. Child killed a lot of people too. Yeah, so but she's still basically the same. She tried to kill the Anointed Avi Cormac. That didn't work. Flip had to flee, of course, because Avi found out that, Holden was there and everything. Through very subtle manipulations, if you want to believe that. Like, the only time he gave something away was at the very end, and he said they instead of he. If he had said he, it wouldn't have given much away. He wouldn't have been able to, like, oh crap, I gotta flee, So in the end, Pirka and Reki are on board the ship. They were severely injured. Holden, Flip, Josh, they're all on there. And of course, Child is. So something's wrong with Holden though. At the end, he's had too much of the Grohl Highland inside of him, which is what the grip use, and it's actually poisonous and deadly, and it will kill or make the person explode if they use too much of it. And so it's making him sick in some way, shape, or form. Child is still growing in her evolution, so who knows how much stronger she'll get, especially since she got defeated and she knows she needs to be better at what she does. Avi has met up with 2 other Anointed, and it's a little terrible in my opinion. They are Baron and Rinda, and Baron, Rinda, and Avi are going to go to the New World to start war. And that was the end. That's literally the end of it. So, I like how this is like the very end. Everything's in chaos, and nobody wants to be around Child. Because, Child could have killed, so many more soldiers if she stayed behind. But I understand why she needed to go. I'm glad she was reasonable, especially with Holden, and that she still feels something towards Holden, her apprentice, that she took under her wings, went back before she was transformed into the weird, creepy thing that she is now. Though they are very much terrified of her in a way of how she kills. So, yeah. I forgot to pull up my shit for this, so bear with me as we do the spoiler review. So, my favorite character in this is actually, Reki, because she's, gives no shit, bullshit attitude, and she's very good at what she does, which is protect herself and others, even though she did get severely wounded. It was through, trying to save other people. My most liked character is, of course, Avi Cormac, because she's part of the Anointed, and she's the reason why Child has changed. She's the reason why Crom is dead. She's the reason why a lot of people are dead, and she's the reason why there's gonna be a big ass war. Terrible. It's just terrible. And I wonder why everybody thinks the Almighty is so powerful. I'm hoping for the third book, whenever that comes out, because it's not out right now. It's not even currently being written. It gives us more information about the Almighty and how the Almighty works, and who the Almighty is, and how He made the Anointed. Because that's still questions left unanswered. So I'm hoping that stuff gets answered. What stood out as memorable? How Chapman and Craft of the UB tribe are possibly connected to how the drip can affect people and change them. That's really interesting. How their medicine is what actually is the key to the drip being used to be weaponized to make weapons. Of course, they have to get Child back to do more experimentations and shit on her, but yeah, so that's actually quite memorable. My favorite passage from the story, there's only like 2 colored things in here, I think. Okay, 1 actually. Shit, I didn't choose something, but that's okay. Realizing she was leaving her home behind, Recky grabbed Holden's arm and made him stop. She kissed him, still feeling a deep thrill, enjoying his breathing. So, Recky has a crush on Holden. Holden is into girls, but he's also into guys, because Flip's a guy, and Flip was his ex-boyfriend, and they're sharing a room now on board a ship. Yeah, it's a little weird, in my opinion, that that's happening. But there can be a threesome, I guess. I don't know. If so, I don't know how I feel about that, because I'm not into threesomes, and yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about that. So my favorite quote, I guess I could just pull one out of my ass. Oh no, here it is. I guess I didn't. Oh no, that's the you fucked up part. I don't remember starring a favorite quote. But I guess I'll go with I Am Still Me. Because this is when Clyde was imprisoned, and she was thinking about what kind of person she was now and what everything was and how she loved people, and she wants to believe she's still her, even though everything is changing about her body. Her mind technically still saying she still has the same memories, same mannerisms. She's just got a deep dive thirst for killing now. So there's that. What I thought about the ending of the book? Well, I'm glad everybody fled. It's really I really don't know what to say, because I mean, like, it's a cliffhanger. It's not even really technically the end. This is also ended on a cliffhanger. So cliffhanger. Breach of Peace ended on a cliffhanger. This one ended on a cliffhanger. We don't even know if Holden make it out alive. We don't even know if they make it to the new world. We don't know how the war's gonna happen. And with Avi, Renda, and Baron on their way to the new world as well, how's that gonna help or do anything? I wish there was a map, because they're talking about an endless ocean, and we don't even have a map to show for this, like with the Almighty Empire and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad Holden's alive. I'm glad Child has been rescued. That's about all from the old ones. I mean, like, it could have been all one book. It would have been better. Just trust me with that. What book did it remind me of? The Beginnings of a War? I guess Six of Crows, in the fact that it ends off with a cliffhanger of, well, no, not really. What could I call the end? What could it be? I guess nothing. Don't remind me of nothing. And this book is part of a series. It's called Lawful Times, and it's book 2 out of who knows how many. There's only 2 books so far. Third book's not out. So we don't know how many books are going to be in this series, or if the third one's going to be the last one, or if there's going to be more. We'll have to see. I rated this a 3.5 because he did get better at writing. The good cliffhanger, but the whole going back in time for the Chapman to explain how he got entangled with the rebels wasn't as necessary as you think it was. You could put that in Bridge of Peace, to be honest, and it would have made it thicker, more words, and you could have put more in here and made this a whole other thing that didn't have to deal with the past. Sorry, I had to check my thing. So if you guys think of this, ever like, comment, or leave me a lovely subscription, why don't you go ahead and drop it down below. I will see you guys next illusion.